Welcome back. All right, round two. Let's get her done. So, Boston has home ice. They are the number 3 seed. So, throughout the series, their logo will be on this side of the board. Now, in the East, the team that's got their logo on this side of the board so far has had no luck. And so, for the Islanders who are on this side again, that might be good luck for them. I'm wearing Boston because, as a Boston fan, I genuinely just really have enjoyed the playoffs so far. And so if Boston wins this series, great. If they don't, it's honestly it's a great story if the Islanders go to the Final Four as well. So I'm just enjoying it for where we're at right now and for what's going on. So when these teams played each other during the season, it was a fascinating series. In that in New York, New York's the better team. In Boston, the Boston's the better team. So we'll go through it. January 18th, they meet in New York. The Islanders win 1-0 at home. February 13th again. New York's the home team. They win 4-2 over the Boston Bruins. February 25th, the Islanders, the home team, they destroyed Boston 7-2. So again, it looked like this is a bad matchup for Boston. March 9th, New York wins at home again, but this time it's 2-1 and it's in a shootout. So treat those as ties, right? March 25th, it shifts to Boston. The Islanders win that game 4-3 in overtime. And then April 15th, Boston starts winning 4-1. In that one, April 16th, they win 3-0, again at home. And May 10th, at home, they win 3-2 in overtime. And of course, after the trade deadline, Boston's record gets a lot better. And Boston now, round two, home team. I would expect that there will be a lot of people taking Boston in this series. But man, it's going to be close. And if the Islanders get a split in Boston and they go home, that raucous crowd and all that, who knows? But again, I'm seriously just going to enjoy watching this series for what it is. Now, if we look at round one, and it's important to look back at how these teams got here. The Boston Bruins lose game one against Washington 3-2 in overtime. And Craig Anderson beat them. So there were a lot of, Boston's going to lose again kind of conversations going on. But game two, things start to turn around. They won in overtime 4-3. Marchand scores at 39 seconds, the fastest overtime goal in Boston Bruins history. They won game three in double overtime, 3-2. It was Craig Smith who scores his first of the playoffs at 5 minutes and 38 seconds of the second overtime. They won game four, 4-1, and they outshot Washington 37-20. And then they won game five. 3-1, and they were outshot by Washington 41-19, but they won the game. So for Boston, it's really been if they outshoot the Capitals, they win. If they get outshot by the Capitals, they win. They won 4 in a row against the Caps after dropping the first game. So Boston's got to be coming into this feeling pretty confident and wanting to play their game. But the Islanders are going to be pretty confident and want to play their game as well. The top 3 scorers for Boston, Pastrnak, 5 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. And what's interesting to me, I still feel like Pasternak's not playing at 100%. And yet, here we are. Charlie McAvoy had a very good first round, 5 assists in 5 games for him. Patrice Bergeron, 3 goals, 1 assist, 5 points. Now, I've got some players in different colors here. In purple are the ones that I think, keep an eye on these guys. And in blue, the ones that I think probably get maybe one of those key goals and key moments in the series. So, Jake DeBrusk, 2 goals and an assist in that first round. It's important for Boston that their depth continues to score points and goals, and while that can get overstated at times, sure, it can't really be understated. And Taylor Hall, 2 goals and 1 assist, 3 points in 5 games, and it shows that Hall's been a part of a team that's now in the second round for the first time in his career, but he really doesn't have to be a key guy. And so it's really freed him up to play some, I'm not going to say loose, because that makes it sound like he's playing some sloppy hockey out there. But, Hall, I think, has really been enjoying himself. And so there's the possibility that he says to the Bruins, hey, I'll play on a team-friendly contract, and maybe he sticks around. Sean Kuraly doesn't have a point yet in 5 games. I think that changes during this series. Lazar has 1 assist in 5 games. I think he'll pick something up during this series as well. Lazar, Kuraly, those are 2 guys that I could see getting a big goal, a big overtime goal, something like that. Tuukka Rask, the underappreciated Tuukka Rask, he's 4-1 in the playoffs, .941 save percentage, 1.81 goals against average. But again, underappreciated within the fan base. Their power play in the first round, pretty deadly, 26.3%. Penalty kill, 85.7%. Shots for, 34.6 per game. Shots against, 33.8 per game. So they're right around even over the entirety of the series. The key for this is really going to be that the Islanders need to blanket that first line of Boston the way that they did the Crosby line and the way that they did with Jake Gensel. They need to be able to do that with Pastrnak in the second round if they're going to have a chance of knocking out Boston. It's not entirely different than the Pittsburgh lineup, that it does tend to be kind of top heavy. But they can roll four lines. We'll see whether or not Boston's able to keep up with the Islanders that way. So on the Islanders side of things, Beauvilliers had an excellent playoffs, which makes sense because he had an excellent season going. 6 games, 3 goals, 4 assists for him. Jean-Gabriel Pageau showing Islander fans why Lou Lamoriello picks him up. A goal and 6 assists for him in the playoffs. Brock Nelson, 3 goals and 3 assists. He had 3 points last night to knock out Pittsburgh. He's a key guy. When they need a big goal, he very often is the guy to get it. Then Josh Bailey, 3 goals, 3 assists for him as well in 6 games. So your name players for the Islanders, mostly your top scorers. What's interesting, though, is, and again, in purple, the ones that I think could be key guys, and the ones in blue are the ones I'm waiting to break through with a goal here and there. Barzal, only 3 assists in that 6-game playoff. I think if you told Pittsburgh before the series, hey, you guys are going to hold Barzal to 3 points in 6 games, Penguins probably would have thought, hey, we got a good chance of winning this then. So it's remarkable that the Islanders have gotten this far with not a single goal from Barzal and him being held to the outside very often by Pittsburgh. Boston's going to look to keep that going. They showed against Washington they can shut guys down too. We may see a very low-scoring series. Paul Mary, 3 goals in 6 games, no assists in the playoffs. I think he showed in the playoffs why Lou picked him up as well. Zajac had the 1 appearance last night, gets an assist. So yeah, those pickups for New Jersey, not too shabby, and we'll see how things go in this round. Matt Martin was really prominent at points during that series against Pittsburgh. Didn't have a point. Kind of surprised a little bit by that. He had some good opportunities. I think he breaks out of that 0 at some point during this series. And Cizikas just had 1 assist. I really do like the identity line for the Islanders, and I am kind of surprised they don't get more goals and points than they do. I know none of them are natural point producers, but the way that they forecheck, the way that they get the puck on turnovers, at some point those pucks are going to start going in. And so Boston's going to have to watch out for that as well. They're going to see a lot of the identity line, I would think, being the one trying to shut down Boston's top line. So that could be your key matchup in the series. Sorokin goes 4-0 against Pittsburgh with a .943 save percentage and a 1.95 goals against. And going into last night, he had a .951 save percentage. And they showed how Pittsburgh over the last 4 playoffs, when they get knocked out, the goals against and save percentage of the goaltender that knocks them out has been fantastic, which I think says a lot about Pittsburgh and how they need to go forward and be better at being able to finish. But it says a lot, too, about Sorokin as a goaltender, that he's right up there with guys like Carey Price and Braden Holtby in the 2018 playoffs. Varlamov went 0-2 in that series, .903 save percentage, 3.61 goals against. But I don't think he was replaced by Sorokin because he was playing badly. I think it's just Sorokin's the better goaltender. So, yeah, and that 4-0 record tells you it's his net. Unless Sorokin gets absolutely shelled by Boston at some point in this series, I don't think we see Varlamov at all. Power play in that first round, 18.8%. Their penalty kill, 75%. But the Islanders beat you 5-on-5. And they beat you with their hard work. And also, Islander games don't usually feature a ton of power plays for them or against them. So I wouldn't read nearly as much into special teams as I would for any other team. Because Islander games tend to be fast, few whistles, skill games with, yes, a lot of hitting along the way too, but not a ton of actual penalties. So if they can get that game going against Boston, we may see some fast games, and then we'll see whether or not Boston can keep up with them on that level. Shots for in the first round, 31.2 per game. Shots against, 38.5 per game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they can't have those kinds of shot totals against Boston, or they risk getting knocked out in this series. But I do think this series will be remarkably close. If I wasn't a Bruins fan, would I be wearing a Bruins jersey? Probably not. I would probably be taking the underdog on this one in the New York Islanders, just because of what happened last year and because this year it looks like they could do it again. And 2019 when they upset Pittsburgh as well. This is a team that just figures things out. So we'll see whether or not this year they can figure out the Bruins. The Bruins may count on their experience from a couple years ago against the Islanders and say, hey, we can do this. But in reality, this year showed that it might be a bit of a different beast. Or does the regular season even matter? It hasn't mattered in a lot of the other series, but still, it's fun to look back and see how these teams did against each other in the regular season. It's going to be a good series. I'm really anticipating. I would be surprised if this doesn't go at least 6 games. But if it goes 7, I would be absolutely stoked to see it. We're going to see increasing sized crowds in both locations as the series goes along. And it's going to be pretty rocking by the end of it. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think will win this series in the comment section below? Don't forget on the community tab, before we get into the second round, I will be posting polls, and we'll see where the channel is with all those polls when all is said and done. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. And to Islander fans, honestly, I have greatly enjoyed watching the Islanders over this playoffs and the playoffs last year. It is a shame we can't be friends during this series, but I generally wish the Islanders the best in this, and this should be a lot of fun to watch. So really looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.